Hello, this video is for Mrs. M's junior high and high school science classes at Logan schools. And my name is Christopher Mick, and I am a NASA Solar System Ambassador, an international teacher liaison for the Space Foundation. I also run my own STEM educational nonprofit in Hudson, Wisconsin, to bring programs to kids in the community. And I am shooting out a video to you because I'm at a special place. You can see the vehicle assembly building behind there. I am doing a newspaper article for my hometown paper, the Hudson Star-Observer, in Hudson, Wisconsin, where I live. But I'm here, obviously, at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida tonight to cover the Artemis 1 launch, which should be happening in about an hour from now. We're closing on midnight here. I can show you the countdown clock. You can see that. So there's the countdown clock. There's a built-in hold there, but we're running 38 minutes until liftoff. Just after 1 o'clock in the morning is the scheduled liftoff. And the rocket is out there on the launch pad. You can kind of see the Klieg lights on that. And then there's all the still photographers, videographers setting up for that. And then if we flip around behind me, you can see all the media tents blowing lights out at you. So that's the NASA TV, CNN, CBS, Satellite Truck Village we'll take a look at. But the reason I'm here is to cover for my newspaper on this big launch attempt. So the reason this is kind of a big deal, it's the first launch of this rocket. It's a 322-foot tall rocket, taller than the Statue of Liberty, and it's never been flown before. And the type of rocket that it hasn't been flown in about 50 years for NASA. So the last time they had a heavy lift rocket like this was the Saturn V rocket that took astronauts like Neil Armstrong and his fellow astronauts on the lunar missions in the late 60s, early 70s. So we got some of the satellite trucks here that are broadcasting this up everywhere. And a heavy lift rocket allows you to leave Earth orbit and take astronauts back to the moon, to Mars, things like that. So when I say heavy lift, what does that mean? That means you can lift a lot of something and get it to the moon, either to orbit like a space station, or to land like a lander, or deliver a rover or a habitat or supplies. So for comparison's sake, the space shuttle, which hopefully you're familiar with, was a 30-year program from NASA. That vehicle could carry about 22 tons to low Earth orbit, delivering parts to the space station or the Hubble Space Telescope, things like that. The SLS rocket, when it's operational, can deliver 70 tons to the vicinity of the moon. So that's kind of a game changer and allows you to do those bigger things. And the rocket has been tested, all its individual components, but it's never been flown before. So they've been trying to do this for a while now. I was down here back in August when it was scheduled to launch. And we've got the Airbus helicopters doing security, which is the noise there. But they had some problems with hydrogen leaks, which is not uncommon with a brand new rocket. You've got a whole system that's being put together that's never been done before. So there's a lot of problem solving, learning, figuring some things out. So there's been the delays, but so far the count's been progressing pretty well. So I'll have to go back into the newsroom and see if there's any updates, but I wanted to leave you with, there's the vehicle assembly building next to us in the parking lot here. So that massive building has these huge 475-foot doors. It's one of the largest buildings in the world by volume, and it was built for the Apollo program to stack those big Saturn V rockets. And it was used for the space shuttle program, and now it's being used to stack the Space Launch System rockets and roll them out to the pad. So there is a lot of comparison between the Space Launch System and the Space Shuttle. So I've got my little prop model here of the SLS rocket. So you can see that it has these two solid rocket boosters flanking the rocket on either side. And if you see a picture of the Space Shuttle, those are the exact same type of solid rocket boosters used for the Space Shuttle. But if you see those black lines, those represent how many segments tall the booster is stacked. The ones for the SLS are one segment taller to provide more thrust, more power, to allow it to have the ability to leave Earth orbit and be able to send on a trajectory to the moon or in the future to Mars. You also might notice the kind of pumpkin colored orange tank. That looks very similar to the external tank for the space shuttle. It's kind of a stretched version of that tank. But they did these things to kind of make use of the hardware and the tooling that was developed for the space shuttle program, and it worked very well, and to keep that workforce and to keep all that hardware they developed for the space shuttle instead of starting all over from scratch. And one last similarity we'll talk about tonight, there's 4 engines on the bottom of the core stage, and those engines are what are called RS-25 engines. Another prop here, this is an RS-25 engine. I'm trying to get some light on it here in the dark, but can't really do it, it's dark. So these were used for the space shuttle program, and there was 3 of them on the back of each space shuttle orbiter. They've put 4 on the bottom of the core stage for the SLS. Again, you kind of see where this is going to provide more thrust, more power. But the space shuttles always came back like a glider to Earth, so we have a lot of engines left over from that inventory of the space shuttle program. So there's about 16 of these left right now. They'll be used for the first several SLS missions before they start building new engines for that. But that's what's going on tonight. So there's been a couple of hiccups in the count, but pretty normal. And so I just kind of want to share that experience with you, what it would be like to be at the press site. So there's all this media here, international and national media. I've been hearing accents walking in and out of the press room from Germany and Italy and Spain. And it's just amazing that there's so many people around the world that are very interested in this mission. So hopefully everything's a go this time, but I wanted to kind of give you a taste and a feel for what the press site would be like if you were here working to do a story or reporting or video for a magazine or a newspaper to cover the launch of this brand new rocket. So it's going to be an uncrewed mission, 26 days out to the moon, then back. The big thing they're going to want to have a look at is the capsule when that comes back, because they want to get all the telemetry and the data from the radiation exposure and the G-forces and that to make sure that everything's going to be fine for astronauts when they send a crewed version up on Artemis 2. So if everything goes well with this mission, there will be crew on the next mission for that. So I hope you have a great school year. Hopefully I can send along some photos or other information. I'm sorry for all the Klieg lights and the noise here. It's kind of dark in the parking lot, but I wanted to share these videos with some of the classrooms from some of the teachers I work with, and hopefully you learned a little bit about the SLS mission and about how the press site is set up. So have a great school year. We'll talk to you soon.